Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 3681B, and today's date is July 7th, 2025, and the title of the episode is Epstein Psyop, Disinformation Necessary to Find Leverage. Next phase will bring justice. Now, I don't know if you know this. While the financial establishment and their deep state allies have been secretly building wealth through cryptocurrency, patriotic Americans have been deliberately kept in the dark. Today, I want to tell you about BlackTrustIRA.com. They're bringing crypto wealth to the hardworking Americans using advanced AI technology that helps you bypass the system that President Trump has been fighting against. I partner with Black Trust IRA because their mission aligns perfectly with what Trump talks about, breaking down the barriers that shadowy financial elites have built to keep regular Americans from achieving true financial freedom. Their Animus AI trading platform works 24/7, analyzing market data and executing advanced crypto strategies that are beyond simply buy and hold, giving you sophisticated trading techniques the establishment has kept hidden while telling Americans to just hold and hope with their retirement. There's a reason their system was named the #1 crypto technology platform by Bitcoin Magazine from over 1,500 global competitors. Whether you're a teacher, truck driver, small business owner, or retiree watching deep state inflation policies eat away at your 401k, Block Trust IRA's advanced Animus AI gives Trump supporters the same advantages as the financial insiders. Right now, Black Trust IRA is delivering over 250% return on investments through exclusive access to Animus AI technology. And with military-grade security, investments are protected by up to $200 million in insurance against establishment manipulation. Don't wait. Visit x22crypto.com and find out how they can help you join the financial revolution that Trump started that's finally giving regular patriots a way around the rig system. For a limited time, they're offering my viewers up to $2,500 in bonus crypto when you open an account. Crypto created 80,000 new millionaires last year despite the deep state's attempts to control all the wealth. Why not you? Visit x22crypto.com. That's x22crypto.com, or click the link in the description. Let's get into the economic collapse, political and geopolitical news. Now, the deep state, the corrupt politicians, big tech fake news, the puppet masters, you could see they're going all out to try to save their constituents. And those are the illegals, because you have to remember they brought them into this country because they needed them to what? Number one, vote for them. They needed them to cheat in the election. Number two, they need them for riots. And number three, they needed them to blend the country. And you could see that this has been part of their plan for a very long time. And now the deep state players, they are now struggling because Trump and the Patriots, what they're doing is they're going around and they're deporting all the illegals. Now, they tried to stop Trump every step of the way by doing what? Well, they had to call out their judiciary, and they wanted to keep that hidden for quite a while so no one knew that the judiciary is part of the system. Remember, they spent a very long time creating their deep state system, this entrenched system where they thought nobody would be able to dismantle it. And they spent a very long time putting all these pieces together, making sure that if anything should happen, they'd be able to call on any of these different agencies, on the NGOs, on the judiciary. And now they're at the point where they have to use the judiciary and they have to expose to everyone that the judiciary is a tyrannical federal judge system. And that's what people are seeing right now. And Trump, every step of the way, what he's doing is he's making the deep state players panic. Now, remember, do we have the control necessary to bring everyone to justice? Well, think about it logically. When Trump said, okay, I'm going to deport the illegals, I'm going to deport the constituents of the Democratic Party, the deep state players, what happened? The judges came out and stopped or tried to stop everything that was Trump was trying to do. Now, of course, Trump, the DOJ, they went and they sued and they brought it up to the Supreme Court, but this took time. I mean, here we went from January, here we are in July already. Now, think about it. If Trump decided, hey, you know something? Let's release the Epstein files right now. Let's release them and let's go after all these people. Do we have the control that's needed to bring all these people to justice? What about all those people that were involved in Russian collusion? Yes, some of them are the same people. Do we have the ability to go after these people? Remember, this is what this is all about. Because you know what's going to happen is that if he went ahead and said, listen, we got all the Epstein information, We have Cash Patel. We have Dan Bongino. They're going to release it now, and we're going to make arrests. Oh, sorry. Listen, I know all these people got off except for this one person. But you know what happened? The deep state players, they still control the judges in many of the different areas, the federal judges. And the judges ruled that that they're not guilty, or they had a jury that decided that they weren't guilty. Oh, almost like Diddy. So why would we do this at this point? Because remember, this entire mission is to take back the country and dismantle the deep state. It's not just to arrest a couple of people and expose a couple of people on Epstein Island. And actually, if they brought out the evidence right now saying, listen, we got the client list, we got the videos, and yeah, we're going to produce it real soon. What do you think these people would do? Would they hightail it out of here? Would they make an escape plan? What happens when you make people comfortable? What happens when you tell people that we can't find a damn thing? We have nothing on you. Are they a little bit more relaxed? Do they feel like, wow, okay, they don't have anything? They're not coming after us? That's interesting. Think about it. Why was a memo put out? I mean, when you look at the memo, there's no date, there's no markings, there's no signature. Even if it was a press release, there's no date, there's no markings, there's nothing. So once again, it's either one or two things. Now, Carolyn Levitt came out and said, no, this is from the FBI. But did they allow a leaker to put this out there and then they just went along with it, saying, listen, we've got nothing. Can't find anything. You guys must have hid this stuff incredibly well because we can't find a damn thing. So do you really think that Trump and the Patriots, you really don't think they're going to go after these people? Do you think this is the right time to do it? Do you think they would release this information and tell everyone that they have it all so these people can actually flee the country? Remember, it's not just a couple of politicians. It's CEOs, it's people in Hollywood. It's many individuals. So why would we ever telegraph the moves? Why would POTUS telegraph the moves? Why would you reveal the evidence now when you don't have full control over the entire system? Yes, they're cleaning out. They're cleaning everything out. Yes, they're preparing everything. But remember, we only have one chance to do it. We have to follow the rule of law. We have to do it correctly. And we need to make sure that what? We get the House and the Senate back. When I say back, I don't mean majority. I mean control. I mean remove the rhinos, remove all those individuals that are actually working against us. And as we move forward and all of this is brought out into the open that, hey, look, we are now clean in the FBI. We're clean in the DOJ. We're clean. We cleaned out everything in the DNI. We cleaned out everything in DHS. Once everything is prepped and prepared, what does Trump have? What do all the agencies have at this point? Leverage. That is what's most important. Why would you attack your enemy unless you had the leverage and all the strength and you made sure that they were at their weakest point? So it'd be pretty darn ridiculous at this point to actually even say that we have any evidence of anything. Now, I do believe you can build it up. You can bring out the declassified information. You could start building it up like they've been doing with Russian collusion. And we could see that Tulsi Gabbard is now releasing and declassified information about the Biden administration on how he was censoring and everything like that. And you build this up because you know what happens with this information? People say, I don't believe it. Trump, I don't believe what he's saying. I don't believe that these people were really that treasonous. I can't believe all of this. We have to remember, the public is with you. But as you bring out this information, there's always doubt. There's always people that are going to say this, it's not true. And you're going to have the trolls come out and try to basically counter everything that you're trying to do. I mean, look, we had the information come out that, hey, there's nothing on Epstein. Look how quickly people turn. Look how quickly people use their emotions and they get very, very upset. Look how quickly it happens. Put your emotions aside. Think about this logically. If you were going after the deep state, an entrenched system, a system that was created over many, many, many years, how would you go about it? And you have to make sure that you have the ability to prosecute. You have to make sure that you have the right judges in place. You have to make sure that you have control of the House and the Senate. You have to make sure that every single agency is clean. You have to make sure that everything that Soros has done where he placed certain prosecutors and judges around the country, you had to make sure that they're replaced. How would you go about doing it? You think it would work right now? No, it wouldn't. Remember, Justice is coming. But Trump, he needs to reverse everything that they did. He needs to make sure that we have the leverage, the strength, the ability to do what needs to be done. If we don't, all of this is for nothing. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. If we don't dismantle, remove, and arrest these people, if we do not remove the Federal Reserve, if we don't do any of these things and we don't do it correctly, you know what's going to happen? If the Federal Reserve is left into place, well, they still have their money printing system. If we do not remove all the different agencies and the deep state players that are working in these agencies, you know what's going to happen? They're just going to restaff them with their agencies, with their personnel, I should say, in the agencies. If we do not change certain laws in this country that they have already implemented by taking control of the House and the Senate, well, what do you think is going to happen? All the executive orders and everything that Trump put into place, they're just going to reverse. So why in the world would we do anything at this moment? Do you think we have full strength right now? Well, if we did, Trump would be able to deport everyone with no problem. No one would interfere. No one would say a word. No one would get in the way. This is why it's not happening right now. Because we are not at that point. We're getting there. We're moving in the right direction. Trump is winning case after case after case. And he will continue to win case after case. And eventually what's going to happen is you need the House, you need the Senate to do what? To get rid of all the corrupt judges and everyone else. Because otherwise, if you keep them in place, how are you going to have trials? It's almost like when I think back to when Biden was in office and people, the investigation was happening with Hunter Biden, with Joe Biden, and people saying, why aren't we prosecuting? Really? With the DOJ that was in place, that was basically loyal to Obama. With the FBI that was in place, that was loyal to Obama. People really thought we were at that point, we were able to prosecute and bring people to justice? I mean, does everyone realize how bad this really is? You think that all these different agencies in the country's on your side? No, they're completely against you. We've been going through this for a very long time. Trump is reversing this. We are not there yet. Remember, it's like a small town. The mafia takes over the town. They take over the judges. They take over the prosecutors. They took over all the politicians in the town. They take over the press. And someone says, why aren't I getting justice? Because there is no justice. The mafia controls everything. The criminal syndicate controls everything. Trump is dismantling it step by step. And the last part of all of this, because remember, he has 2 years right now where they can clean out all the agencies. The agency heads can cut the personnel. They can remove the different agencies like USAID. Remember, you need money to bring it back. And I do believe once we have control of the House, once we have control of the Senate, there's one final step. Yeah, let's say we get rid of all the agencies, what Trump is doing. We fire all the personnel, which Trump is doing. Yes, he does have certain roadblocks because remember, we're not in full control yet. There are certain roadblocks, but he's getting past them. Once all that's done and he slims down the government, removes the agencies, removes the personnel, we have the election, we take back the House, we take back the Senate. We have control, not majority, control of the House and Senate. The last thing he really needs to do is remove the ability for the deep state players to fund the agencies and hire all of the personnel back. So how do you do that? You get rid of the Federal Reserve. Because remember, that's open-ended credit card. They can print trillions upon trillions of dollars. If you get rid of that, you remove all funding, which means you cannot reestablish and recreate everything that was taken away because you have a certain amount of funds coming in via tariffs, coming in via gold card, coming in via energy sales or technology sales. So it will be very, very different. And they will not be able to just make up programs to say, hey, we just want to send another trillion. We just need another trillion. But we don't have a trillion Because look, this is what we have coming in from the tariffs. So I do believe this is why this all has to be done in this manner. We have 2 years to clean everything out, to reduce the agencies or remove the agencies, remove the personnel, and bring everything into a place where we then can move forward with getting rid of the funding and then actually start the process of bringing people to justice. And you want to keep the people in this country. You don't want people to flee. You don't want people around the world hiding. You want to put out disinformation so you keep people in this country so they don't flee. Actually, there is a post that says this, that they will be releasing disinformation to make sure certain individuals do not flee this country. Now, again, with the Epstein information, does that mean they're going to be arresting every single person? No, I think certain individuals they're not going to bother with, but high-level people, most likely they will. And I do believe this is why this is being done at this point. I mean, you really think that the Epstein information was put out there just because they didn't want to do anything? I mean, really think about this for a second. Does that make any sense whatsoever? No, it doesn't. And think about it. If he wasn't going to do anything, why would they make a really big deal of the Epstein information? Because think about what people do when they hear this. Wait, I don't believe this. And all of a sudden, people start to post about it. They put it all over the place, which calls more attention to it, which builds the narrative. People question everything. If you really wanted to go away, you just stay silent. Nobody talks about it. Nobody says a word. Nobody cares. But if you want to keep it in people's minds, if you want people to talk about it, if you want people to look into it, if you want people to investigate, this is what you do. Because, again, if you're going to bring justice, this is one of the pieces. Because I do believe once people see who the treasonous people are in regards to Russia collusion, the Alpha Bank hoax, the overthrow of the United States government, if people still do not believe this and they start to producing certain information, yes, they could basically blur out the victim's face. If you start to see certain people in videos and pictures and things like that, and you start to you see lists of people that actually were on the island, well, that just backs up and actually brings everything right out front where everyone can see it. Why would you do that now? You wouldn't. You would actually use disinformation and build the leverage, which I do believe Trump and the Patriots are doing right now. We'll be talking a lot more about this a little bit later. But first, let's talk about what's happening out in Texas, because it seems absolutely horrible that we have these flash floods. People passed away. And of course, you have Rosie O'Donnell and all the rest. They're all trying to blame it on Trump. Oh, it's because of the cuts that he's making. It's because, we don't have the staff to warn people. But we know this is all fake, phony, and false. This has already been debunked. But of course, this is what the Ds are now using right now. They're trying to convince everyone that because of what Trump has done, they didn't have the staff to warn people. And this is why Schumer right now is getting on board with this, trying to push this, and they want an investigation. You know what they're going to find out? They're going to find out that they were fully staffed. Remember, Trump and team, they're making cuts to everything the Ds have set up, where they were sending money to all their illegals, where they had slush funds, they had deep state players that really weren't supposed to be in different positions. Those are the people that they're getting rid of, all the waste, all the people that never needed to be there. And they're keeping the actual people that do the job. That's the difference right now. And when you look at the flooding, it's absolutely awful. But the Weather Service, they had extra staffers on duty during the Texas flood emergency. And once again, everything the Ds are trying to do, everything the fake news is trying to do, it's completely and utterly falling apart. And actually, their narrative in regards to illegals in this country is actually falling apart, because all you got to do is look at Mexico, and you see something very, very interesting there. Andy put this out and said, Mexico City, Mexican nationalists, leftists, and Antifa attack businesses to demand that Americans and foreigners leave. They blame the foreigners for expensive housing costs. their counterparts in U.S. are also rioting, demanding borders be open to them. So wait a minute. So you have Antifa and all these people down there saying they don't want people, foreigners in their country. And in this country, they don't want the foreigners deported. They want more foreigners in here. Actually, let's just call them illegals. I mean, does that make any sense? No, it really doesn't. Homeland Security put this out and said, if you are in the United States illegally and wish to join the next protest in Mexico City, use the CBP Home app to facilitate your departure. Beautiful. And Wokeness put this out and said, pictures from a riot in Mexico City. Pay taxes, learn Spanish, respect my culture. The other picture, not your home. Well, isn't this what we've been doing here? Homeland Security goes, oh? I mean, really think about what's going on here. Let's talk about our health. The science is in. A clinical trial found that just 10 grams of collagen a day for 8 weeks led to a roughly 20% increase in skin hydration and a 17% improvement in elasticity, while also visibly reducing wrinkle depth. If you want to help improve your skin health, it's clear that collagen is essential. This is why I use the Secret Magical Powder, and I'm obsessed with the results. Multi-collagen provides my skin with 5 types of premium collagen to help attack wrinkles from every angle. I'm seeing smoother skin, more elasticity, fewer lines, and more youthful glow. Plus, multi-collagen mixes smoothly with my morning coffee or tea. There's no clumping and zero added flavor. Do yourself a big favor and grab yourself a bag of ageless multi-collagen now for 51% off only at healthwithx22.com. Plus, by ordering today, you'll also receive free VIP life health and fitness coaching for life and a free ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and free shipping with your order. Once again, this offer is only available at healthwithx22.com. That's healthwithx22.com, or just click the link in the description. The final irony, the leftists are upset with Americans who have entered Mexico legally because of how that's affecting the country. Yet leftists in this country are supportive and protesting on behalf of the people who have entered the U.S. illegally. Think about it for a second. Absolutely unbelievable. Now, the other thing that we could see is there are certain individuals within the deep state players. They're now giving instructions to the Democrats, letting them know it's time for blood. It's time to make a move. Axios put this out and said, there needs to be blood. Democrats voters tell them to get shot in Trump resistance push. So basically, they're now pushing this entire thing. They want violence. That's what they're really doing. Bill Malugin says, 3 federal and Texas law enforcement sources tell me an active shooter with a rifle and tactical gear ambushed Border Patrol agents as they arrived at Border Patrol Annex facility in McAllen, Texas this morning. Local police and federal agents returned fire, killing him. I'm told this was a purposeful ambush attack against federal agents, and a press conference is planned for later this morning. No federal agents injured. I'm told McAllen police officer may have been shot but is in stable condition. And Wokeness says, wow, Axios put this article out, and 4 hours later, what happened? There was a shooting, and they tried to shoot a Texas Border Patrol officer. Only 4 hours apart. Basically, they're calling for violence now. Why? Because they're becoming desperate. Because they're losing in the court of law. And when you lose in the court of law, what happens? You resort to physical violence. This is what we're seeing right now. Yes, they're trying to stall. They're trying to pause in the court system, but they're failing every single time. So they realize, okay, this is not working, and now we need to move this to the next step. And that's exactly what we're seeing. Now, the other thing that we could see is that hundreds of federal agents and military, as a massive federal immigration enforcement operation is underway in the MacArthur Park area of the sanctuary city of Los Angeles. And we have many individuals who are now in this park from the Border Patrol, military. And as they entered the park, Mayor Bass demanded raid stop. And you could see that they're panicking right now. Now, this park, for context, this is where you can buy new identities, and Rosie Memos put this out. You can get social security numbers, you can get drugs, sex, and tacos. And this is a heavy influence MS-13 area. Now you know why they're panicking. This is why Mayor Bass decided to cancel the anniversary of the fires and come down to this area. And they brought the LAPD, you could see they were definitely panicking right now. And everyone that says that she's a DEI individual and she was put into this position, well, Data Republican corrects everyone and says, no, she's not DEI. She's actually a Castro operative. Data Republican says the following: I'm going to keep repeating this until people understand this. Karen Bass was not only a Castro operative and communist, but she got elevated to vice chair of National Endowment for Democracy, which is the center of soft power operation in the U.S. government. She is not a DEI mayor. She is extremely powerful at the global stage. She was actively involved in shaping foreign policy with the Obama administration, especially Africa. Her Ghana visit during the L.A. wildfires wasn't a vacation. It was part of a Biden delegate to greet Ghana's new president. She was considered HUD secretary for a Biden administration. Instead, she nominated the person who would become the actual HHS secretary, California Attorney General Xavier Becerra. Now, let me ask you, if a literal Castro operative gets elevated to this stage, what does this imply about the rest of the United States government? Think about that for a second. If there are certain individuals in all different places that are part of the communist system, part of the system that Obama and Soros put into place, do you really think we can have justice? Think about it for a second. Think about what Trump is doing right now. This is not just the 4-year election. Let's write a couple of executive orders. Hey, you know what? Let's just remove a couple of taxes. Let's just make everyone a little bit happy. And you know what? When it's all said and done and the Democrats come into power again, they just reverse everything. This is not a Band-Aid fix. This is about dismantling and removing the deep state players for good. And we need to do it right. And the only way to do this is to have the leverage and the power. So it looks like there was a memo, or whatever you want to call it, a press release, whatever. Didn't have any type of markings or anything on it. It was released saying that there was no client list. Jeffrey Epstein, he killed himself. Nobody assisted. And this is the information that was brought out, and Axios published it. So everyone looked at it and said, whoa, what's going on here? This doesn't make any sense, which is a good thing. Carolyn Levitt came out and says the DOJ FBI memo was authentic. No clients for Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein actually killed himself, and there's just nothing here. So once again, the press release, the memo, whatever it is, didn't have any of the proper markings from the FBI. Now, once again, one or two things happen. They put this out there for disinformation, and it's necessary. Or there was someone within the FBI who decided to put this out there, and they just went with it. Now, again, I don't know why someone in the FBI would do this unless Cash Bongino said, listen, we searched everywhere. We're looking everywhere. We can't find any information whatsoever on Epstein. And they spread this around the office, and they waited to see who the leaker was going to be. And the person leaked it and said, okay, let me send this out there and let everyone know that they can't find what we hid. Now, number one, if this is the case, they found the sleeper. They found the individual that's leaking it. Number two, the deep state players who got this information, they're like, oh, thank God. Now we don't have to worry about that. Or Cash and Bongino went ahead and they put this out there to make the deep state players feel like they can't find a damn thing. Either way, it's the same exact thing. But you could see that everyone's freaking out about it because this makes no sense. And here we are once again. Can you imagine during COVID, if Trump came out and said, listen, if we just use hydroxychloroquine or ivermectin, we wouldn't need a vaccine. We wouldn't have a pandemic. Oh, wait, he did say that. What did they do back then? The fake news, all the doctors, the Medical Association, the WHO, and everyone else, they all attacked him. Did that work out well? No, it didn't. Would anyone really believe it? No, they wouldn't. So why in the hell would Trump, the FBI, DOJ, why would they give the deep state players a heads up that we have everything? That we have the list, we have the videos, we're going to produce it, and we're going to show the world. Do you think this is the time? Do you think this would give the deep state players a heads up, and you think they would skedaddle? You think they would flee? Absolutely they would. And why would you want to telegraph your move? That makes no sense whatsoever. Why would you want to tell the deep state what you're doing? Wouldn't you rather put out disinformation? Wouldn't you want the deep state as comfortable as possible? Wouldn't you want them to stay around town? Absolutely you would. Because again, if the next phase is justice, why would you want anyone leaving? Why would you want anyone to know what you're doing? You wouldn't. And of course, everyone's doing the same thing as they did before. Oh, Trump's not releasing it because he's on the Epstein client list. But let me just tell you this. If Trump was truly on there, the deep state would have just taken that one little section and they would have produced it in 2016. They wouldn't have revealed everything. They would just reveal that part of Trump and say we couldn't find anything else except that. And then people say, well, I can't believe they would do that. Really? They made up the whole Russian collusion thing. I mean, are you serious? Think about that for a second. So yeah, Trump is not on the Epstein client list. But we could see there is a massive amount of evidence that lets us know that, yeah, Epstein and his island and his apartment and all the videos and everything else, they do exist. And if you look at the posts, Q just kept posting about it over and over and over. Green Lives Matter put this out and said, Epstein's former employee, Maria Farmer, alleged that his residence had pinhole cameras recording every single thing his clients were doing. There were computer rooms bigger than houses collecting this information. This was obviously used to garner, blackmail, and hold leverage over the people. All of Epstein's residences had these mechanical rooms and tunnel systems. I know this because Epstein told me. These rooms were enormous, bigger than houses. I have no idea why anyone needs so many computers in one room. There were pinhole cameras to record everything on every estate. The cameras were ubiquitous. You couldn't see them unless they were pointed out to you. I don't care who you are, whether you are liberal or conservative. We do not believe that Epstein was not blackmailing anyone, and Ghislaine went to jail for trafficking children to no one. And in 2019, and Emma just put this out, the FBI raided Epstein's home in New York City and discovered hidden safes with computer disks and stashes of footage. What was on it and who was on it? So what's interesting, and ALX put this out, is that evidence from Jeffrey Epstein's safe went missing after the FBI raid. So the information is missing, which means the FBI, some of the deep state players in the FBI, they hid that information. And think about it. Think about what Cash has said. Think about what Bongino says. They found certain areas where they found information. Now, I do believe that Cash, Bongino, and the rest, I do believe they found all the information. Now, again, I don't think they want the deep state players to know that they have it all. I think they want them to believe that they have no idea where anything is. They can't find anything. So the deep state, they're going to let what down? Their guard down. They're going to become very comfortable. They're not going to run. Remember, this is not just about Epstein. He was a puppet. There are people above him that were actually orchestrating all of this. Lisa May put this out and said, sometimes it's the people in the background that are of greater significance. She is pointing to a Q post from July 2nd, very interesting, and this is post 4565, and says, financed, well, let me just read the top. Possible Epstein was a puppet, not the main person of interest. Financed by who or what foreign entities? Primary, gather blackmail on elected politicians, dignitaries, royalty, Hollywood influencers, Wall Street and other financial top-level players, other high-profile industry-specific people. Feed and addiction, controllable. Maxwell family background, Robert Maxwell history, intel agency wealth. Sometimes it's the people in the background that are of greater significance. So think about that for a second. So basically, Trump and team just told the world they can't find anything. There's no videos of any importance. There's no real client list. Epstein killed himself, and everything's on the up and up. Let's go back to post 3799. You didn't think we highlighted Epstein for no reason, did you? Those who were once protected are no longer. Timing is everything. Hunters become prey. Didn't Trump say he was a hunter now? Well, if you're hunting something, do you just get up and scream and yell? Or do you stay stealth until the last moment? Think about it for a second. So basically, let's say you told the public you had everything, videos of CEO, Hollywood people, politicians. Let's say they said that, you know what, Epstein really didn't kill himself. And we have those who did on video. What do you think would happen next? Do you think we'd have the ability to try any of these people in the court of law? You might get some, probably very few. Others most likely would walk. Others would flee because we don't have control of the system. Sometimes you have to put disinformation out there. See, you want your enemy to feel comfortable. You don't want them running. So what do? You leak info and you make them feel like they're safe. We need to keep the people in this country until we have the ability to bring them to justice with judges that will follow the rule of law. We need to keep them in this vicinity until we have the leverage and the strength. Let's just go back to post 34. In the middle of all this, it says false leaks have been made to retain several within the confines of the United States to prevent extradition and special operator necessity. Let's go to post 381. We won't telegraph our moves to the enemy. We will, however, light a fire to flush them out. Moves and counter moves. So why in the world would Trump, the FBI, DOJ continually tell everyone we've got it all? And here it is. When you're going to use this at the last moment. Because again, they're going to spin the Russia collusion. Most of the fake networks, they're not the propaganda outlets. They're not even going to actually talk about it. Where will it be? Social media. But again, you also could see the board. Look how quickly people turn. Look how people say, oh, look, see, it's not happening. Trump broke his promise. See, you could see this very, very clearly. And think about what the FBI, DOJ, DNI, DHS, CIA, think about what they're doing right now. They're in the process of cleaning out their agencies. They're in the process of shutting down and making mass arrests around the country. Cash and Bongino have now taken the FBI and they are now doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're going out and they're locking up criminals. And they're shutting down the deep state criminal system. You think what's going on in the country with all the criminals, with all these different organizations, who do you think allowed this to happen? Who do you think wanted it to happen? It was the deep state players. And what Cash and what Bongino are doing right now, they're shutting all of these things down. Shutting down the money laundering, shutting down the gang members, shutting it all down so they do not do us harm when we go to the next phase, and that next phase is justice. Trump, he put this out and said, the FBI, under the direction of Director Kash Patel and Deputy Director Dan Bongino, is back to the basics, locking up criminals and cleaning up America's streets. We have the greatest law enforcement professionals in the world, but politics and corrupt leadership often prevented them from doing their job. That is no longer the case. And now they have been unleashed to do their jobs, and they're doing just that. Keep it up. So let's see. Did he just let us know that they cleaned out the agency and they're in control of the agency now? And they're actually going to do what they're supposed to do, where they're going to actually go after criminals? It's starting to seem that way, which is very, very interesting. And which means they're going to actually shut down a lot of the criminal networks that the deep state players have set up. Remember, the country that you thought you knew really didn't exist because the deep state was running it at every level. And they were in control. And they were telling everyone what to do, all the elected people what to do. You have to remember, they put all of this in place. And when you ask yourself the question, why can't we just bring the justice? I don't understand. It makes no sense. It does make sense. Because the reason it's not happening is because we were never in control. The reason it was happening is because you had a criminal syndicate running the country. Once you get once you understand that and you come to terms with it, everything else makes sense. And then when you step back and you take a look at why and how Trump has to actually move forward with all this, that starts to make sense. Because, again, this is not just, oh, let's get rid of Biden, let's get rid of Obama, let's win the election, and now everything is great. Trump has been battling the system. He's showing you firsthand. Look, I am battling the judiciary. Do you see them? They're the deep state players. Look, when I was running for election, I battled the DOJ. I battled the FBI during my first term. When I was running for the election, he was showing you every step of the way. Look at the system. Do you see it? Do you see what's happening? It's not just one or two or three people. It's the agencies. It's the NGOs. It's the prosecutors. It's the judges. That's the system. Do you see it? This is what we got to get rid of. Because if we're going to have accountability, if we're going to bring them to justice, we need to get rid of all of it. And that's what he's doing right now. And yes, he's doing it in a way where we don't have bloodshed. The deep state players, they want bloodshed. They want riots. They want killing. They want looting. They want to burn down cities because that's what they always wanted. Trump's not giving it to them. And this is why it's taking this long. But you know what? He's going to follow the rule of law. He's going to remove the system that they put into place, and he's going to save lives at the same exact time. Remember when everyone thought we were going to World War III and people were scared? It was all controlled. Enjoy the show. Remove your emotions. Because, again, think about Trump. Think about the art of the deal. How do you think he got his properties? Did he do it when the buyer was really strong? Did he do it when he had no leverage? Or did he wait? And did he actually get the leverage that he needed? Did he get the strength that he needed to actually get the properties for pennies on the dollar? I mean, really think about it. Even when he was selling his properties, he did the same exact thing. He's doing it now, right in front of you. Now, the other thing that we could see is that, yes, we have illegals in this country, but again, this is part of a system, a deep state system that's worldwide. It's not just happening here in the United States where illegals are coming in. Europe has been doing the same exact thing because it's the same deep state players. And a record number of migrants are becoming German citizens faster and faster amid digitalization and fewer screenings. Isn't this what they were doing here? Absolutely. And it looks like Trump, he might be talking to the deep state players, letting them know that it's time to basically free Bolsonaro. It's time to end it all. I think he's sending a warning to the deep state players. This is what he put out. Brazil is doing a terrible thing on their treatment of former President Bolsonaro. I've watched, as has the world, as they have done nothing but come after him. Day after day, night after night, month after month, year after year. He is not guilty of anything except having fought for the people. I have gotten to know Bolsonaro, and he was a strong leader who truly loved his country. Also, a very tough negotiator on trade. His election was very close, and now he is leading in the polls. This is nothing more or less than an attack on the political opponent. Something I know much about. It happened to me. Times 10, and now our country is the hottest in the world. The great people of Brazil will not stand for what they are doing to their former president. I'll be watching the witch hunt of Bolsonaro, his family, and thousands of his supporters very closely. The only trial that should be happening is a trial by the voters of Brazil. It's called an election. Leave Bolsonaro alone. Sounds like a warning to me. Letting the deep state players know, listen, if you don't have a fair election, if you try to rig the election, something's going to happen. And I do believe Trump, he has all the information that can actually destroy the deep state players in Brazil. Remember, He's seen all the classified information. But let's see how this all plays out. This is going to be very, very interesting. Now, Trump, he decided that he's going to remove the al-Nusra Front from the list of foreign terrorist organizations, and they are now removed. And it looks like Syria right now most likely will end up signing the Abraham Accords, and you're going to see a lot of the Middle Eastern countries, they're all going to work together, and the only country most likely that will be left out is Iran. And Iran is going to have to make a tough decision in what they're going to do. And I'm talking about the people of Iran, because when they see everything around them and they see they're not part of peace, they're not part of production, they're not part of trade, I think the people of the country are going to say enough is enough. But you can see Iran, they really want to get rid of Trump. And that's actually the deep state players, Khamenei and the rest. And they have a reward to assassinate Trump. And now it's at $21 million. And you can see the deep state players, they are really panicked right now because, again, Trump is dismantling everything that they put into place. And we could see that Trump now, he's isolating Iran. And eventually, I do believe the people will rise up. And you could see that Trump now is actually making Zelensky wage war without money or actual weapons. So this is a war of attrition, and it looks like this summer, it's going to be a hot summer, and that's what Trump keeps saying. We're going to see Russia continually attack Ukraine. And Trump, I do believe he put himself in the middle. He keeps calling out Putin, but again, he knows the deep state players, they're not going to give. They're going to keep pushing Zelensky. They have a lot to lose. And in the end, Ukraine is going to fall on its own, and Zelensky and the deep state players, they won't be able to do anything. And you can see that Russia right now, Disclosed TV put this out, and this is coming from Russia's Lavrov. He says, peace treaty with Ukraine should include demilitarization and denazification. So basically, he's letting everyone know there's Nazis in there. Do you think the deep state players, you think they want to get rid of their Nazi troops? Absolutely not. How do you think they had the overthrow of Ukraine governments? The Nazis assisted. They're all part of the Nazi system. Now, the other thing that we could see is that the feud with Trump and Elon is continuing, and I do believe this is all part of the show. And once again, this is how you separate, and this is how you actually lead certain individuals down a path. And I do believe this is all being done on purpose. But Trump, he responded to Elon Musk, where he's now thinking of creating a third party. He said, I am saddened to watch Elon Musk go completely off the rails, essentially become a train wreck over the past 5 weeks. He even wants to start a third political party, despite the fact that they have never succeeded in the United States. The system seems not designed for them. The one thing third parties are good for is the creation of complete and total disruption and chaos. And we have enough of that with the radical left Democrats, who have lost their confidence and their minds. Republicans, on the other hand, are a smooth-running machine that just passed the biggest bill of its kind in the history of our country. It is a great bill, but unfortunately for Elon, it eliminates the ridiculous electrical vehicle mandate, which would have forced everyone to buy an electric car in a short period of time. I have been strongly opposed to that from the very beginning. People are now allowed to buy whatever they want. Gasoline-powered hybrids, which are doing very well, or new technologies as they come about. No more EV mandate. I have campaigned on this for 2 years, and quite honestly, when Elon gave me his total and unquestioned endorsement, I asked him whether or not he knew that I was going to terminate EV mandate. It was in every speech I made and every conversation I had. He said he had no problem with that. I was very surprised. Additionally, Elon asked that one of his close friends run NASA, and while I thought his friend was very good, I was surprised to learn that he was a blue-blooded Democrat who had never contributed to a Republican before. Elon probably was also. I also thought it inappropriate that a very close friend of Elon, who was in the space business, run NASA when NASA is such a big part of Elon's corporate life. My number one charge is to protect the American public. Absolutely. So Elon already knew this. He knew this from the very, very beginning. And the mandates had no effect on Elon whatsoever. And basically, I do believe what Trump and the Patriots are doing right now, they are now cutting the strings because, again, Trump's going to be removing the subsidies from Elon's businesses, which is actually going to detach him from the deep state players. So I do believe that, yes, this is still part of the show. And the third party, I think you're going to see maybe some Republicans, rhinos, maybe take some interest in it. And this way, Trump can see the board very, very clear. Remember, we're coming up to the midterms. We want to see whose side each of these people are on. And as you keep pushing these things out there, and these individuals say, maybe I'll be better over at the American Party. Maybe I'll be better if I do this. You really see who they truly are. And sometimes you have to push quite a bit to find out who they really are. Now, the other thing that we could see is that as we know, the big, beautiful bill passed. And what's very interesting is that when Trump was on the campaign trail, he made a lot of pledges. And it looks like 20 campaign pledges that Trump made during his campaign, he has fulfilled. Steve Miller put this out and said, look at the 20 pledges. Seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. Carry out the largest deportation operation in American history. End inflation and make America affordable again. Make America the dominant energy producer in the world by far. Stop outsourcing and turn the United States into a manufacturing superpower. Large tax cuts for workers and no tax on tips. Defend our Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and our fundamental freedoms, including freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and the right to keep and bear arms. Prevent World War III, restore peace in Europe and in the Middle East, and build a great Iron Dome missile defense shield over our entire country, all made in America. End the weaponization of government against the American people. Stop the migrant crime epidemic. Demolish the foreign drug cartels. Crush gang violence and lock up violent offenders. Rebuild our cities, including D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. Strengthen and modernize our military, making it without question the strongest and most powerful in the world. Keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. Fight for and protect Social Security and Medicare with no cuts, including no changes to the retirement age. Cancel the electric vehicle mandate and cut costly and burdensome regulation. Cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, radical gender ideology, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content on our children. Keep men out of women's sports. Deport pro-Hamas radicals and make our college campuses safe and patriotic again. Secure our elections, including same-day voting, voter identification, paper ballots, and proof of citizenship. Unite our country by bringing it to new and record levels of success. So Trump, he is making good on these promises, and a lot of these promises are coming true. And you can see that everyone's like, well, he didn't keep his promise. Well, again, do you think you could do this all in one day? He has 4 years to do it. What happens if he keeps the other promises 2 years from now? It's kept, which I do believe he's going to do. And you can see the deep state players. This is why they're panicking. This is why they're using everything that they have to try to stop him, which is exposing the deep state system. And eventually what Trump is going to do, he's going to show that, look, these people that tried to have a coup in 2016, these people that used Russia collusion, these people that pushed the impeachment hoax, these people that went ahead and indicted me during the election, these people that took my mugshot, these people that sued me up the wazoo, well, these people are the same people that overthrew the United States government in 2020. These are the same exact people. And these are the same exact people with others that were on Epstein's island. So right there, Trump is going to show the entire world that it's all the same people. And I do believe the people are now ready for a special prosecutor to investigate the 2020 election. And Rasmussen did a poll asking if the people are now ready. This is the poll. President Trump has called for a special prosecutor to investigate the 2020 election. Would you support or oppose the appointment of a special prosecutor to investigate the 2020 election? Republicans, 71 support, 53% strong support. All voters, 48 support, 32% strongly support. You think the people are ready for this? Absolutely. And I do believe Trump, he's putting everything into place, getting everything prepared to do what? To bring their corrupt temple down around them. Remember, this is not a 4-year election. He's not just putting Band-Aids on everything so another individual can come in and just undo it. We saw that already. Actually, Trump showed us what would happen if he doesn't destroy the deep state players. Think of 2016 to 2020. What did they do? They just reversed all the executive orders. Everything that Trump did, everything was reversed. So without creating new laws, without changing the Constitution like the 16th Amendment, without removing the Federal Reserve Act, without dismantling the entire system and removing their funding, removing the corrupt in the judiciary, the corrupt around the different states in the prosecutor's office, the judges, without doing any of this, do you really think it's going to work? No, it isn't. He has to do all these things. And then once all those things are done, those people that actually created the deep state, all those individuals that were treasonous to this country, all those people that visited Epstein Island, all those people that are against America, this is when you can bring justice, because you have the leverage and you have complete and utter control. Because who's in control? The patriots are. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.